live in like a, and we are live. All right. Take two, right?
Take two,
Amazing.
yeah.
Thank you for doing this. Why I'm saying take two, we just had a little bit of internet issues, connections, but we're making it happen. You know, sometimes that happens. You gotta roll with it, and we use it as an opportunity to grow and practice patience. So, Samantha, thank you for doing this. And once again, what is it like to be you?
What is it like to be me? That's a great question. It is like being on a roller coaster. It's mostly fun. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's an uphill battle. But sometimes things go smoothly, and you just coast along and hang on for the ride. It's mostly um, joyful and exciting, suspenseful at times. You don't know what's coming next around the corner, but in the end, it's always, the best is yet to come.
All right. The best is yet to come. Amazing. Okay, tell me your story again. What happened when you were living in Hawaii? I think you said, right?
Sure. So I was living in Hawaii, absolutely loving paradise and enjoying life until one day I found out that my husband was having what I thought initially was one affair. But over a year's time, trickled truth, and 8 different D days, which is discovery days, where he would tell me partial truths. I found out that he was having multiple affairs with sugar babies, escorts, prostitutes, having illicit affairs, and spending pretty much our entire retirement savings on them for various things like luxury vacations, designer shopping, sex, fine dining, you name it. And he had over, close to 15 that I know of, different affair partners.
15. Wow.
Yeah,
What?
over a period of 2 years. So he was a busy man.
Yeah. How? I have
Yeah.
so, oh my God. I have so many questions. Like, how how did he even manage? And how I know like like did you have any signs? Or, like could you have seen something coming or was it just like
Yeah,
completely
that's
out of
great.
nowhere or
That's an awesome question. So for 3 years, I questioned, why and how, and there were no signs, no red flags,
wow.
nothing. But when I started my healing journey, I realized that there were multiple signs. But when you're in a relationship and you fully trust someone, you are
Mm,
not looking for signs. You believe them at their word. So once I started healing, there was multiple signs that actually share in my book on the signs that were, visible in there and what to do with those signs.
got it. Okay. Yeah, I think you're totally right. Like when you're so stuck in it, you like can't really. Okay. So what happened next? So you found out, and then you said over a course of a year. So what happened since
Yeah,
you found out the very first one? What happened
I'm
next?
sorry.
What happened like since you found out for the very first time? Right? You said about you first found out about one, and then over the course of a year, you started figuring out more and more. So what
Yeah.
happened? What changed since day one?
Sure. So, let me go back to the first one where I found out it was like the middle of the night and it was my birthday morning. I couldn't sleep. I didn't know. Maybe I was excited about it being my birthday. And so I went downstairs to just watch some TV, do some mindless things on my phone, maybe play some games. And a little voice came in my head that said, check his email. And I've never snooped before. I've never needed to snoop before. So I kind of questioned and felt a little guilty why that, thought popped into my head. But I found myself Googling, Yahoo email and entering his email address, thinking, well, I don't know his password. And I actually guessed it on first try and I was in. So I'm scrolling through his email and everything looked fine. Nothing unusual, emails between friends, emails that we had sent between each other, and everything seemed normal. And then I clicked on archive, and I first saw a hotel reservation for the week before when he was in Phoenix on a business trip. Normal. So I scrolled to the next one and I saw a hotel reservation for the following night for two people, queen bed. And I was just kind of taken aback. I'm like, wait, what? You know? And I thought, well, maybe it's a surprise for my birthday. I was trying to reason and rational, things because, he would never cheat on me, right? And then I was like, but he had asked me to go for drinks with, a coworker after. Maybe the coworker's in on the surprise. And it was just a mix of thoughts and emotions. And I realized that, you know, maybe, maybe he's cheating on me. Just, a little thought came in. And I decided, well, I'm going to play it cool and I'm going to go to the hotel the next night and confront him and whoever he's with if it's not a surprise for me. So I went back to bed and kind of tossed and turned and then got up and, showered, got ready for work, made coffee and brought it up and put it on his nightstand. And he's like, thanks, babe. And I'm like, you're welcome, kind of quietly. And he's like, what's wrong? And I paused and I said to him, are you having an affair on me? And he looks me right in the eyes and he said, why would you ask me such a stupid question? I would never do that. I love you way too much. I would never. And so I put that aside and went to work. And there were streamers, balloons, gifts all over and around my desk. And I kind of was trying to choke back tears because I was, here it is my birthday, I'm supposed to celebrate, and I was not feeling like celebrating at all. And a coworker came in and saw me looking a little distressed, and she said, "Is everything okay?" And that's when the floodgates opened up, and I started crying and saying, "My husband's having an affair," and she could not believe it. I had gone back and looked at the email again, and realized that this is not for me because when I looked at the reservation that I thought was for Phoenix the week before, it was at a beachfront resort in Hawaii, right underneath my nose for two. And I went home and I don't remember the drive home. And I was sitting on the lanai, just like staring, not even knowing what I was looking at. And the phone kept ringing. I let it go to voicemail. It was my husband. And finally, I think about the third time I answered, and he says, "Is everything okay?" I called work and they said, "You went home?" I said, "Yeah, I don't feel very well because I didn't sleep and I just decided to take the day off." And he says, are you sure? And then I thought, this is another opportunity for him to tell me the truth. So I asked again, "Are you having an affair on me?" And his answer was quick, almost with a bit of anger behind it. Like, why would you ask me that? I love you way too much. I've told you before, I would never do that, not in a million years. And then I lost it. And I said, I know you weren't in Phoenix last week. You were at a beachfront resort with her the whole time. And you have another reservation to meet her tomorrow night. And there was a pause, the longest, maybe only 10 seconds, but it felt like an eternity, where I knew that I had discovered the truth about what was going on. And then I started, blurting out, like, how could you? Who is she? Where did you meet? How long? All these questions. And I just, just spiraled into a bunch of different questions asking him. Of course, he lied about, how long and where they'd met. And that came later on when I discovered that he'd met her on a um, sleazy dating site called Seeking Arrangements.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
On your birthday. It's
Yeah.
honestly, it sounds almost like a movie, you know,
Yeah.
like
Well,
like a
it's
really
being
bad
written
beginning to a movie.
to a producer for a movie documentary, so I'm excited about that opportunity.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
What happened
Yes.
next? What happened in the next
Next.
whole year, right? So you discovered and you had this obviously horrifying experience. What was next? Like, how did
Yeah.
what happened?
So, so one turned into five affairs turned into, oh, I had a little affair with someone at work. Five turned into seven, and so on and so forth. And every time it was because I uncovered information. When you find out, um, that you've been lied to, you become a detective. And I was doing just tons of research and looking at his history. Um, of course, he had deleted everything in his email because he knew I had access to it now. But there's a little trick you can do. You can send an email and put in A. Everything that starts with A comes up. B, D, D. So I notated everything that looked suspicious in emails, copied them down, and I sent him a text and I said, "Who are these women?" And, then I had an appointment, came back home, and he's sitting there in the living room. He's got this look on his face, and I'm like, oh no. And he says, "We need to talk." Oh, here we go. I hated that word, that phrase, "we need to talk," because I knew something big was about to come. And he would share that, yes, on when I went to New Zealand, I went to a brothel there, but it was legal and I had to wear a condom. I'm not sure why he told me that because it certainly didn't make me feel any better. And then he started explaining all of the different emails and who he contacted and why. Of course, not the full truth, but enough to make me wonder and question um, why and how and everything. And it just left me pretty much devastated. And that kind of "we need to talk" happened over a year's time. And like I said, it came up with 15 different women that he'd been with, some for a long time and multiple times, and some just like a one time get together. And of course, that's just the truth that I know about. There could be more. I don't know. By then, I kind of knew enough. I didn't want to know anymore. And it got to the point where there were some details that he would tell me that were like TMI almost. Like, why are you sharing this with me? And it was almost, it had a tone of bragging to it. Like, yes, I've been with this many women and da da da. And part of me was almost a little bit sad for him because most of these women would not have been with him had he not been paying them. So it was like, wow, to get affection and intimacy like that is so empty to me. And so I felt a bit of compassion towards him,
Wow,
oddly so.
wow, okay. I think I'm just gonna ask like upfront, why did you stay after you found out about the first one? Why a whole year? I'm assuming, it sounds like you're not together anymore, right?
Right, right, right.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
that,
So why the whole
good.
year?
I think because of, I was totally in love. We were married almost 20 years. And I absolutely loved him. We raised six children together. We had at that time a couple of grandchildren, and I did not want to break up the family unit. And, I always said, you have an affair, I'm done, I'm gone. Unless you experience it and go through it, you don't know what your reaction is going to be.
Right.
And so we went to therapy and counseling together and separately. And he made a complete, 100% change. and said that you're the best thing that ever happened to me, was very apologetic, never blamed me, blamed a lot of childhood trauma. And for 3 years, he was, the model husband, so to speak. And however, when you're being monitored and watched, everything you do, like I had an app that I was able to see where he was at all times. If he was out, he would send a picture of who he was with. And it got to the point that it was creating a little bit of anxiety every time I looked at that map and
Hmm.
wondered, oh, where is he? Who is he with? And I'm waiting for the picture. And I decided that I was tired of babysitting. And, you can do things right when you're being watched. But to me, character and true character is how you behave when no one is watching.
Yeah.
And so I told him I'm deleting this app, I'm giving back control. It's just too much. And I also, by this time, I had taken over the finances, and I was I gave him the debit card, and I said, you can change the password, and I'm going to keep paying the bills and doing the finances, but I'm going to separate our money and open a new account. And what he did was he changed the password, but what he didn't realize was the account was still joint. So even though he changed his password, mine still worked. And within a week of getting um, his freedom back, he signed up for a couple of, he set up profiles on these dating sites. And a week before our anniversary, he met. Um, but I wanted to say the women he was with were beautiful women, ages 19 to 29, and he's in his 60s. And it was a week before our 20th anniversary. He hooked up with a 27-year-old at a hotel and paid her $300 for sex. And basically, I was able to see this on the account that he, had paid for all of this. And on our 20th anniversary, I served him with divorce.
Wow.
Yeah,
So when you were monitoring him, how long was that? Did you say 3 years?
3 whole years. Yeah,
Wow. But like as soon,
yeah.
even after 3 years, as soon as he was like, "Oh, I'm free again," he went off. Wow.
Within a week. So, yes,
Wow.
I stayed. I wanted to make it, but I had set boundaries at this point that you cross them. I mean, that's it. And one of them was you cheat again. I'm done. I can't keep going through this again. And I realized that one of the biggest triggers was him. Like when I see him standing there naked and wanting, adoration and compliments, he was my biggest trigger because I kept seeing other women that he was with naked. And I had seen pictures of the majority of them. And once I left, I realized that, he was a big trigger and not.
Oh no.
Are you there?
Ah,
You're
yes.
frozen.
Okay, you're back. Okay, you froze for a bit. It's like,
Did you get the last?
no, the last thing I got. Oh, I can. Hmm.
When you get what frozen? It's weird.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, now,
Now,
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think
testing.
we're
One, two.
back.
Can you?
Okay, and now it's gone again.
I've never happened before.
Hmm, this is very interesting. I've never had this happen. Okay, I
Yeah.
think, I mean, you're moving. So the last thing I heard was that he was like a big trigger for you.
He was what? I'm sorry.
A trigger. He was the biggest trigger for you,
Oh, yeah. And
and you
he
kept
was
seeing.
my biggest trigger. When I left, I started my healing journey because I realized that seeing him was so difficult because every time I saw him, especially when he was naked, I saw him with other women. Like I had intrusive thoughts and images that, flooded my mind. And I needed to escape from that.
Mm, okay. How was the healing journey? Right. Let's shift to that a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, that was good. Um, my healing journey began when I came upon a website for a quiz to take, and it asked some questions, and it told you where you were in your healing stage. One being you've just found out, you're devastated. A five being you're in a great place and you've come through the dark path. When I took the quiz, I was like a three. And to explain that, I can, it's like carrying around a ball and chain. It's a heavy weight. You can still do things, you can still function, and you can still walk around, but it's a heavy burden. And you're not living life with joy. You're just living it one day at a time, thinking, well, this is it. I'm just going to have to accept it and go on. But you're still carrying that heavy, heavy weight. So once I realized I was there, I was able to take some courses through this same website, and the courses were very relatable. I had taken other classes and courses and read multiple self help books, but nothing really was helping me until I came upon this website, which also led me to take the PBT certification, and that's a post betrayal transformation certified coach, so that I could coach other people who have experienced betrayal trauma as well. So, part of my healing journey was not only becoming an author, but becoming a certified PBT coach as well.
Okay. Post betrayal transformation. You said right.
Transformation, yeah, from
Wow.
trauma
Okay.
to transformation.
Okay. What biggest mistakes did you make on your healing journey, and what helped the most?
Yeah, one of the biggest mistakes I made was number one, wanting to numb my pain with alcohol. And that may have brought me temporary relief, but that only delayed my healing. Again, in order to heal, you need to feel.
Mm,
Looking back, I constantly, like for instance, on Facebook, anytime memories came up on the dates that he was having affairs, I would look at that and wonder, where was I? Where was he? How come I didn't know? And the constant looking in my rear view mirror made me miss the opportunities and the joy that could be available to me ahead of me because I was always looking behind me. Also, not reaching out um, to get help in an area of like I was going to therapy, but some of the therapists that I went to when I shared my story were like in shock. Were like, really? That happened to you? And I needed someone that was certified in, betrayal trauma because I didn't want my therapist to be shocked. I wanted them to help me. So that was one of the things, but I didn't even know what betrayal trauma was, and the terms like D-Day and triggers and intrusive thoughts and images. I didn't know what any of that was. So it was just like learning process and googling a lot and just realizing that I felt so alone. There were a lot of opportunities, but I didn't know where to go for these opportunities and help.
Yeah. Okay. And so, on the other hand, what do you think helped the most? Besides, like maybe go a little bit deeper, you said the core, the quiz, and then the courses. What was it exactly about those? Because you said you'd done other things before, and therapy didn't help, right? What was it about the course that you learned in there that was like, this is like connecting?
Um, I think the main thing was real, and it was a gradual, and there's no linear line to healing. It and everyone's timeline is different. There's no timeline for grief, and so I want to state that some people can go through it quicker, and others it takes longer, but that's okay. That's your timeline. And I think it was when I came upon something that was so relatable that I kind of went, they get me. They understand what I've been through because everyone in that group, the 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 course that I took, the training, everyone involved had experienced betrayal in one way or another. And then also recognizing that betrayal affects a lot of people. It affected my children in a different way, and how many people are affected from one person being betrayed. It kind of branches out to a lot of different people, and people that were surprised because he was a model citizen in everyone's eyes. So a lot of people were surprised and shocked in our family and circle of friends that were affected by the fact that he wasn't who he portrayed himself to be. I'm not sure if that answered your question or if I went way on another.
Yeah,
But
you went yeah, a little bit sideways. So we can wrap it back around. What would you say was and I'll just repeat my question. What would you say was the main thing that connected you with the course that you found this one, except the all the other things that you've done or tried?
I would say all the other things that I had done and tried put me in a place of I was able to accept it because for a long time I was just like in my mind, my heart and my brain didn't match. It's like I knew what I'd seen and
Hmm.
heard and knew, but my heart was wanting it not to be true. So I came to a place of acceptance, but I was still not living life to its fullest. I was very depressed, dealing with anxiety, was affected physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually,
Hmm.
and was everything else that I came upon led me to accepting, but it never offered hope to move forward beyond and to take
Mm.
what I had happened to me as a learning experience and make it
Mm.
something positive. And until I came upon, the site and I
Mm.
realized that more to life than what I was living.
Okay. Wow. That's actually super insightful. And I think that's very important because then it really allowed you to just take this very negative thing and transform it into something positive, which I can
Yeah.
really relate to, not in this setting or not with this context, but it was the same journey for me with my social anxiety, right? Like it was, going through bullying and very difficult, um, not like super abusive, but like very strict and very unpleasant, let's call it that way, unpleasant childhood at home, right? And also fights and whatnot. So I had major depression, major anxiety, and a part of my, well, more like the later stages of my healing was becoming a coach and helping other people and sharing my story and doing this, right? So I can totally relate to that. One thing that I would add that I see again in the context of social anxiety a lot, and you mentioned this maybe a little bit when you told your story to your therapist, they were like, "Whoa!" Like they were like shocked. So like, how can you help me if you're reacting, like. And I see that a lot with social anxiety specifically because I end up working with a lot of people who have been in therapy for 2 years, 3 years, tried different medications and whatnot, and then finally they come to me and we do a few months of work and they're doing so much better than they were ever doing before. And I think a big reason for that in a lot of cases is just that the therapist, he might be an amazing person, an amazing therapist, right? But he or them, they've never gone through the exact thing that you went through, right?
Exactly.
So they don't have the experience, they don't really know, and they might give you all the best advice or like all, but it just doesn't connect the same because it's like book knowledge, it's not real life experience, so they don't really know what it's like to go through that. But like if somebody is guiding you and supporting you through the journey of like, yeah, like I know I've been exactly where you are now. I totally like fully understand what you're going through because I've been through it, and this is what you can do to help to get out of it, and this is how you can transform it into something positive. I think that's, yeah, like that's one of the most powerful things about any of this. And I actually have a piece in a book called that. It was like an anthology with a few different authors. Um, the piece that I wrote was a gift wrapped in sandpaper, and I wrote about my social anxiety as being a gift wrapped in sandpaper because I had to go through and like unpacking it was very like it was like, oh, I don't want this gift. Come on, this is seems like a like a curse. I don't want this, right? And then you start unwrapping it and it hurts and it's like so uncomfortable. Right? The healing process, it's not easy. And then on the other side it kind of opens up. You're like, whoa, because it really like it gave me the biggest gift. Like I wouldn't be doing this podcast, for example, talking to you, and having a great time here. I wouldn't be coaching people. I wouldn't be traveling the world. Like there's so many things that I would never get a chance to do if I didn't go through the bullying, if I didn't go through the social anxiety, if I didn't go through all of that. It's just like I wouldn't be able to do what I do now. So it is a very strong concept for me, the gift wrapped in sandpaper.
Wow, I love that you shared that. That is so, spot on. You hit the nail on the head. It's really about I like, emotional intelligence as well, like
Mm,
having that empathy for you and understanding because they have gone through similar experiences and it's relatable to them and to you, and you feel a connection. And I too, struggled with the anxiety and fear of being in the spotlight, so to speak. I never liked attention being on me, and from a young age. And one of the things that kept me from doing that was growing up with the expectation of perfectionism, but never getting it perfect. And so my fear was, I'm not going to get it perfect, so I'm not going to do it. But once I realized that if I don't try, I'm not going to know. And that really spoke to me that I just had to try, and things were initially very scary, but the more I did it, the more comfortable I became, and realizing that I have a higher purpose in sharing my story, and if I keep it to myself, I'm not helping anyone. I'm not even helping myself because helping others helps me so much as well.
yeah, I love that as well. Helping others helps you so much as well.
Yeah,
And if you're
it does.
coming from, yeah, amazing. So tell me more about your business journey when it started going from, okay, I've done my healing and stuff. I'm gonna get a certification. I'm gonna start helping others. How was that process?
Sure. That the certification took a while. Of course, the prerequisite is you have to have taken all of the courses, the healing courses. You can't go into being certified and be in stage
Right.
three. So the courses took a while because they would give you a module once a week because there was a lot of homework and they didn't want you rushing through it. So you couldn't open the next one until you completed the one. And again, it was a weekly process. And then when I finished my book, and it'll be published in the beginning of December, I, um, I started being a guest on a ton of podcasts. And the first one, I was a little bit nervous and worried about, this, that, and everything. And then the more I did it, the more comfortable I became, and just, shared my story. It's easy to share your story when it is your story, and I didn't really have to. I thought, I need to rehearse, I need to do this and that, and my poor dog, I was talking to it, and it, of course it loved me, but I wasn't too sure if others would, and I had to put that aside and not worry about that, and just be myself. And then it went to getting speaking engagements, which are coming up in the new year, along with my story being featured in two magazines next month, and
Amazing.
also my book being pitched to a producer for a movie or a documentary as well.
Wow, a lot's happening. Okay. So, how long ago did you did you complete your certification and start doing these podcasts and all of this?
Yeah, so I still have two more modules to go, and then I meet with the owner, Dr. Debbie, I call her. She is a licensed psychologist who has experienced betrayal and um, made the courses and the 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 PBT Institute that she
Yeah.
created. So once I'm finished the modules, I'll have a one-on-one with her where she will give me a study, and then how I like an actual not a person, but something that has happened, and how would I coach them? What would I do? And then I'll be finished and be certified. I still offer coaching right now, but I'm not certified. And I think once I'm certified, I'll be in a really good position to help more in a way with the knowledge that I've gained from the course.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that you still offer coaching even without the certification, because I'm a big believer that you don't really need anybody else to tell you, yes, you can do this now. You can, especially if you've gone through it and you've grown and learned and you've transformed yourself, which obviously, just talking to you, like I'm pretty sure I can there
Yeah,
might be, of course, something still coming up or coming back, right? But
yeah.
you've done a lot of the work and you seem very energetic, very happy. You're talking about the story with no emotional attachment, seemingly, right? So yeah, you're more than ready.
Yeah, I offer complimentary one-on-one session with me for first-time clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I have them take the quiz that I took, so I
Nice.
know what stage they're in, so that we can discuss where to move forward in their journey, where they are. Not where
Yeah.
I am, but
Yeah.
where they are.
Yeah. Awesome. What is completely, let's say, next, or what is the dream for you with all of this?
Oh, to share with the world that there's hope for healing and that they're not alone. And I would like to offer courses as well, um, depending on what stage you're in. And also, I would like to offer what not a helpline, but a link to when you first find out what to do, and maybe a print off PDF, what to do and what not to
Mm,
do. And it'll be in a way that doesn't overwhelm, because you are very overwhelmed and in shock when you first find out that too much information is just going to spit out. So, what are three things that you should do right now? What are three things you should not do right now? And that'll help them in their first stage of going towards their healing.
yeah, that sounds awesome. I,
And I'd like to run a podcast as well and have
okay.
guests, and that's a dream too. And just increase knowledge and offer hope, and again, let people know they're not alone, because it is a very lonely, dark place
Yeah,
when you feel like nobody understands.
yeah. What about your kind of like personal life, I guess? What about like where do you want to see where do you see yourself in the next like 5 years?
Oh,
Besides, helping people speaking on massive stages and having a best-selling book and amazing podcast and all of that, how are you gonna
you
live
know,
your life when you have all of that?
this is really out there and has nothing to do with this, but I've always wanted to be a comedian on a sitcom, and
Okay.
an idea pitched for it. It's called ADHD and Me, and it's about really funny stories about life that I experienced growing up with ADHD in the 60s and 70s, when that was unheard of. And actually, that's my next book. And
Okay.
I want to do something that brings joy to other people and makes people laugh.
Okay. That's that's awesome.
I don't know
I love
the way
that.
out.
I
But
love
if
that.
you don't dream it and make it into some action, you never know if it's going to happen. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Are you still living in Hawaii or are you living anywhere
no,
else or
I actually we moved back in 2020, right in the midst of the pandemic, and he excuse me, he got a job in Denver, Colorado. And that's where we lived when I gave him control back, so to speak.
mm,
And when um, left him, I packed a 15-foot U-Haul truck with my car towing behind me, and taking just absolutely what I needed. And this is a little funny story. I didn't want people, because I drove from um, Denver to Texas, which was about a 15-hour drive, and I didn't want people knowing that I was driving alone. So I bought this blow up man. I don't like saying blow up doll, but a blow up man. And I sat him in the passenger seat, wrapped him in a blanket, baseball cap, and leaning against a pillow on the passenger side. You can't blow him up fully because he won't bend. So I had, I had him sitting there, and he was my company for the next 15 hours while I drove through the interstates to get to Texas.
Wow, okay. And so
Just
then you that's funny. That's a great little side note. And so then you settled in Texas and you're staying in Texas now?
Yeah, my kids and my grandkids live here. My daughter lives 5 minutes from me, so I get to see my grandkids for
Nice.
almost every day.
That's
And
awesome.
I've lived here for almost 30 years, so all my
Mm,
friends and support group and everyone is here. And coming from Canada, you know, I'm you know was raised in 30 below zero temperatures, and I didn't really like the cold that much. So I much prefer the warmer climate over the colder one. So that's why I'm here.
Okay, nice. Are you planning any travels?
Yes,
Or
yes, I'm
yeah.
just outside of Dallas in a town called Corinth. It's about a half-hour drive to downtown Dallas. So,
Okay,
but right here it's very quiet, safe, um, you know, just a good neighborhood to be in.
nice, very nice. That's really awesome. Hmm. It's okay. I'm just thinking of like because the States is so big and there's so many different places. It's awesome to hear somebody talking about a perspective of like that you really enjoy it and that you have a safe neighborhood and all of this. Because I hear a lot of not so good things. It's actually been a very interesting experience. Maybe it's besides the point a little bit, but me growing up in Europe in the Czech Republic, it was all like the United States is this amazing place and all of this and the dreamland. And then as I actually started learning more and growing up, I'm like, and especially as I've traveled, right? Because I've been to 20 countries, I've been all over the world, um, you know, decently about three continents around. So there's many amazing places like around the world, right? I currently live in Vietnam. Wonderful, wonderful place to live, and of course, Europe and all of this is really awesome. And yeah, so good to hear that you're really enjoying it, and then you're having a good time, you're safe, and all of that. That's really nice.
Yeah, yeah, I love it here. It's a small enough and away from downtown and the hustle and bustle of all that to
Right.
feel like part of the community. Often you can go to the grocery store and you're gonna know someone there getting
Yeah.
their groceries,
Good vibes.
and people are walking their dogs and outside and waving every time you go down the street. You always wave at someone and they wave back, and it's just a really good sense of community here as well.
Yeah. Okay. On that, just a little bit, because this is like right up my alley. You say waving at people and stuff like that. I've definitely noticed that bigger cities tend to be less friendly, right? Because it's just so many people, so it's a little bit of a paradox, I think. But like, you are more isolated in a huge city when it's a small community and you actually know the people you're connected more, right?
Yeah,
However, I've noticed that just by you being more friendly, actually everything else becomes more friendly. And again, like this is right up my thing because I have people with social anxiety. I see this all the time. I went through this myself, right? Once you start being more friendly to other people, you start waving at people and smiling and saying hello to more people, you find out like wow, the world is much more of a friendly place, and it happens so much more in normal in the smaller communities, right? Because more people know each other, but you can really do this even in a big city, even if you don't know the people. And I like to mention this anytime any chance I get, because people need to have better relationships and better connections. And yeah, just I love that you say that, go out there, smile and wave at people, be friendly, and the world is actually a much more of a friendlier place. And I love your hat, by the way. It's like right up this um right, perfect for this conversation as well. It's a nice smiley face. And
yeah, yeah. I
yeah.
like to challenge people by saying, count how many people you make smile in a day, and
Ooh, I like that.
you'd be surprised. And it is really an uplifting experience. And
Mm,
conversations come out of that as well.
yeah. And sometimes amazing friendships or, connections and
Absolutely, absolutely. I have some amazing friendships that I made in Hawaii from simply putting a post-it note on everyone's door in my neighborhood saying, I just moved here. If you want to go to Starbucks together, here's my number. And I've gotten some amazing friends from that little note.
wow, okay.
Yeah,
That's
that was
amazing.
comfort. zone. But I had just moved and was kind of feeling lonely.
Yeah.
And I'd gone to Starbucks one day, and everyone was with someone, talking, smiling, and I left crying because I felt
Mm,
so alone. It was
yeah.
like I said, I moved, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach out to people because I needed people,
Yeah.
and some great friendships that even those that have come visited me here, and I've been there to visit a couple of times as well, and I stay with friends while I'm there.
That's awesome. I love that. I've done it even in person. Like when I'm sitting in a coffee shop, I made this little sign that says, looking for friends, come say hi. And so like I
Oh,
just hang it like either on my computer or just like at the table when I'm sitting. And most people are kind of like, like a weird, like a kind of a dirty look.
yeah,
But some people, like some actually awesome people, actually come by, and this one awesome person, his name is Saji. He is like skating around the neighborhood all the time. He's like, always vibing, and he's an amazing artist, and we became friends because he came up and he was like, "Is that your sign?" I'm like, "Yeah." Oh, okay, that's really cool that you're doing this. I'm like, "Okay, thanks, yeah, thanks for saying hi. What's up? What's happening?" So I love doing these little things, and like you said, it's
yeah,
outside of the comfort zone a lot of the times, but that's what you got to do. You got to step out, you got to put yourself out there in some way, and then you
yeah,
find out that the world is actually a super friendly place.
right,
Not
right.
all the time, not everybody, of course, right? There's
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
exceptions, and but I
yeah.
like
You
that
get
you
there.
felt lonely. Did something about it. Yeah, you were saying.
Yeah. Oh, there can be bad apples in the bunch, but you just throw those away.
Yeah. Just throw those away. I
Yeah,
like.
I mean, I like to surround myself with positive people and people that want to uplift me and support me, not bring me down.
Okay, I think this is going to be kind of the last question that I ask, or last topic that I bring up. How did you, after you felt so betrayed, right? And after all that happened, did you have trouble trusting everybody else as well? Because you were like, oh wow, like if this person who's like this close to me could do something like this, how can I trust anybody else as well? Did you ever have that? And if so, how did you learn to trust people again and learn that, oh, just some few bad apples I'm going to throw away, I'm just going to focus on the really good ones?
Um, Great last question. I like to say um, the answer is yes and no. But one thing that I hang on to is love like you've never been hurt before. And one of the things that is, I guess, a gift to me is I've been very forgiving. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting, but forgiving allowed me the freedom to continue to trust and love like I'd never been hurt before. And I don't like to say, if I'm waiting to trust someone, it's almost like I'm saying you're guilty until proven innocent. And I didn't want to live that way. I wanted to live with the freedom of continuing to believe in people's word. However,
Mm,
I'm cautious. I mean, I'm still not going to do some of the things that I did in the past, as far as allowing people to manipulate me into giving them something that, by believing their story or whatever. But I just wanted to continue to be open and let my heart lead with a sense of um, more, not empowerment, but knowledge that, yeah, I can be hurt, or I can believe and experience new things that I've never experienced before. Because if I shut the door, I'm not going to grow at all. I'm going to be stagnant.
yeah, awesome. I think this is a again, like a topic that's really close to my heart because again, different experience, similar, I guess, results in a way. Because for me, it was bullying, right? Like I was like, how can I feel safe or how can I be good with any people? Because like, if all of these are bullying me, how can like how can I trust people? And it was definitely a process of learning. Oh, there are actually amazing people out there, and I need to like learn to be able to distinguish them and find them and like really just focus on the amazing ones and it, forgiveness like you said, right? And then forgiveness is a huge part of that, forgiving not only other people but also forgiving yourself. I'm not sure if you went through that, but like there's the stage of like blaming yourself, like how could I let other people do this to me, so forgiving other people, forgiving yourself, and yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I think that's forgiving yourself. If you can't do that, it makes it difficult to forgive others.
Yeah,
So that's important to um, forgive yourself first so that you can forgive others.
yeah. What an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your story and stepping
Thanks,
out there.
um, I'm grateful for this platform, grateful for you and you sharing part of your story. I feel like a kindred spirit, and I'm really excited to have this conversation and to know a little bit more about you.
Yeah, amazing. Well, if you're gonna start once you're gonna have your podcast and you're gonna want to have people, maybe it might make sense to keep it specific for your topic. But if you're gonna want to talk about mental health and healing altogether, I'm happy to go on and happy to share more. Um, and
You will be my
yeah,
first
hopefully we
guest.
stay in touch.
I
Oh,
would
first
love
one.
to have you.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yes, it's awesome, epic.
What an honor. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm
What an
so
honor.
excited.
All
It'll
right.
be
Well, I'm
awesome.
I'm really looking forward to staying in touch. You have, great vibes, great energy. If I'm ever in, your area, I might be, but I have no idea when or how. If you ever want to travel anywhere, do let me know because I know a lot of people who've traveled all over the world. So if you ever need like tips of going to Latin America for a trip, or you want to come over here to Asia, visit us over here, you're more than welcome to. I'm happy to give you tips and
Whenever
stuff.
you're traveling in America, I have flight benefits on a
Mm,
major airline. So I can travel pretty much anywhere that airline goes. So you might
very
see me in
nice.
one day, you might see me in, Germany. I speak German too, so that
Oh wow,
helps.
nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah. My mom fled from Germany during World War II. So, and
Okay.
yeah, she's still living, 92, 91. Yeah, 91.
Wow, that's
Yeah, and
amazing.
lives
Mm.
in the same house we grew up in. She's been there almost 60 years.
Wow. Okay. Well, she's gotta have amazing stories as well. Damn.
Yeah, she wrote a
Um.
book as well. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. All right. Do you have any closing statements or anything to leave people and leave me with?
If I may share my website.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So my website, you can request an appointment for coaching. It has my bio, and it also, if you put in your email and your name, you will be the first and only group that gets to pre-order my book. And 100% of the profits go to feedamerica.org for the pre-sales. So the website is called help for the number four betrayaltrauma.com, and you can read a summary of my book. If you click on pre-order, you have to scroll down to enter your name and email, and you'll be on the list to be able to pre-order it. And I'm excited that the book will be on pretty much every shelf in mid-December.
Let's go in December. Amazing. All right. So it was helpforbetrayaltrauma.com.
.com. Help for betrayaltrauma.com.
I will also tag it and I will also like add it in the notes.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
later on, I will be also uploading this to Spotify, so I will tag it in there as well and let you know when it's up as well. All right, thank you
Awesome.
so much for doing this, and yeah, have a wonderful day.
Yeah, you
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye.